welcome to Brent's Anime Review Corner, where I talk about anime and recommend it to you. What I'm talking about today is Magical Project S. This is an anime series in the Tenchi franchise, made when Tenchi was kind of at its height, and as a kind of a remake of an OVA they made, absolutely having a lot of fun with magical girls and doing ridiculous things with the magical girl concept. Pretty Sammy is a magical girl who fights Bill Gates. That gives you an idea of the kind of overall tone. So that was, I think, a 4-episode OVA. Fun, ridiculous. And then they announced a 26-episode TV series, which was released over here as Magical Project S, because Pretty Sammy utterly failed in the in the DVD sales, and literally, apparently, whoever had this at the time, I guess it was Jenny on, was told, do not ever send us anything with Pretty Sammy on the cover because we will not order it. So they changed the name to Magical Project S when they released the TV series. Understandably. And this is a reboot. So it is several Tenchi characters in a magical girl storyline. And all you need to do is go online and search up the Magical Project S opening TV opening theme to get an idea of the overall tone of this show. It is the lightest of light. It is cotton candy. It is silly. It is goofy. It is every magical girl trope all in there, done as this light, fun comedy, or so it would seem. Because this is a wonderful, light, goofy comedy. I'm going to see if I can find the clip in here where Sasami is actually turned into a magical girl. There's a lot of plot in the beginning of it, oddly enough. But she is given the magical girl thing, and yes, Sasami, and yes, Mihoshi is her teacher. That's a whole thing. And I do believe there's a moment where she does reference the three-way relationship between the knight, the demon, and the princess.
That's the only story she knows.
It's the only story she knows. So eventually, Sasami is given her baton. She is given her. She does the whole transformation sequence. She looks at herself and then offers the whole thing back. I'll see if I can find the moment. Yeah, and she literally offers it back and says, "I don't want this. I look stupid in this outfit." It's like
awesome.
Actually, yeah. And so it is very much this goofy light send up of this, except Sasami has her best friend Misao, who she spends a lot of time with, goes home with, and Misao is this very shy girl. And so you get to see Sasami go home to her mother, who owns this record store, the CD store, and they chat all the time and have this great relationship. Misao goes home to an empty apartment. And she realizes, and she tries to open the door and it's locked, so she takes out the key, opens it, comes in, listens to the
answering machine.
The answering machine, and there's a line in here, same old message. She's a latchkey kid. And the camera angles are different, the color is different. Suddenly, this is a drama. Whereupon, evil magical girl character shows up. And we get a very different tone. Like, Misao runs to the door to try to leave, and the other woman comes in and, like, no. And we get this very uncomfortable scene where she is basically mind-controlled into being the evil magical girl. Ooh. This is episode 1. This is interesting. So, Magical Project S is a story about how Sasami turns into Pretty Sammy, Misao turns into Pixie Misa against her will without knowing it. She gets sort of mind-wiped every time. And if Misao ever realizes what's going on, she's going to realize that she has been harassing and hurting her best friend for the entire time.
Damn.
And guess what happens? So yeah,
I've opened a churro stand.
You know, people talk about Madoka Magica being like the first magical girl series to do anything dark with magical girl. Heck no. There have been shows exploring that in Magical Girl in lots of different ways. And what I love about Magical Project S is that, and by the way, this is all like back in the box, back in the, you would know this if you search about any of this online.
Does anybody die?
Moving on, most of the it's not that kind of a show. In fairness, it's not that kind of a show.
Okay. Not Madoka-ish.
It's not Madoka-ish. But I will. Okay, so this is tonally, for the vast majority of this, a very goofy, lighthearted, magical girl thing.
Till it isn't.
And then there are I'm telling you this because it's important to know, there are 3 episodes of this where Misao realizes what's happened, and literally locks herself away in a cocoon and is catatonic. And Sasami has to try to get to her. It actually deals with the psychological after effects of what she's gone through. Again, look at the tone of the show. What I love about it is that it is absolutely a positive, upbeat show, but it is willing to dip into these serious themes because that is what they've set up in their storyline. That this is a thing that these characters will have to deal with at some point. And they deal with it, and then the story moves on, and we move on. So it never feels overwhelming, it never feels dark, it never feels like, oh my gosh, what's ever going to happen? But they actually do deal with these things, what I love about it. It's one of those things that Tenchi does very, very well, that whole franchise. So if you like Magical Girl, this is very much a Magical Girl series. If you like series that do kind of execute on some of those darker themes a little bit, and does explore some more serious moments for the characters, you will absolutely get this. And if you're interested in Tenchi Muyo, a lot of Tenchi characters do show up in this show now and again. It starts with just a few of them, but then eventually you do get, I'll say, a variety of Tenchi characters throughout the course of the show, just to give you a little idea. So I really enjoyed Magical Project S. There was a lot to it, while also being just wildly entertaining all the way through. That is Magical Project S. Hope you enjoy.